Welcome, weary traveler, to another journey into the endless night. Take a slow, deep breath and let the weight of your day simply fall away, melting into the quiet gravity of the earth. As you settle softly into your space, allow your body to become light, weightless, ready to drift into the vast, dark ocean of stars above us. Before we leave our gentle orbit and venture out into the deep silence, if you find comfort in this quiet haven, I invite you to gently tap the subscribe button. Let it be a small, flickering beacon in the dark, ensuring we can share many more peaceful journeys together across the cosmos. Now, close your eyes and let your mind drift backward, back to the quiet classrooms of your childhood. Do you remember the posters pinned to the walls? The colorful, glossy diagrams of our solar system. You were shown a simple, orderly neighborhood. 8 perfect, smooth spheres, resting on invisible, perfectly circular tracks, all orbiting a warm, stable, yellow star. You were taught about the asteroid belt as a neat, dense fence of floating rocks, quietly separating the small inner worlds from the immense gaseous giants beyond. It was presented to you as a masterpiece of cosmic clockwork, silent, unchanging, predictable, and infinitely safe. It felt reassuring, didn't it? The idea that we live in a perfect, harmonious system where every celestial body has its permanent, unmoving place. But tonight, as we float higher, slowly leaving the atmosphere and the comforting illusions of our textbooks behind, we are going to look deeper. We are going to drift through the deep time of the cosmos and witness a truth that is far stranger, far more majestic, and beautifully wild. The serene stillness you see when you look up at the night sky today is merely an illusion, a temporary, quiet pause in a cosmic ballet that spans billions of years. The solar system we call home is not a static, perfect clockwork. It is a canvas of immense, slow-motion chaos. A silent expanse where wandering worlds have danced and collided in the dark. Tonight, we will gently peel back the layers of time to see the awe-inspiring truth. We will drift through the unseen remnants of ancient impacts and trace the long, lonely paths of giant planets that migrated through the freezing void. We will discover that the profound, soothing quiet of space we experience now was born from a sprawling, restless history. But do not let this cosmic chaos disturb your peace. In the vastness of space, destruction does not happen with sudden, frightening noise. It happens in profound, absolute silence, stretching over millions and millions of years. It is the slow, majestic reshaping of matter, the necessary, beautiful chaos that eventually gave birth to the very oceans of our world and the gentle cradle of life itself. So, let go of the neat little circles. Let go of the need for absolute order. Allow yourself to become a silent, weightless observer, floating effortlessly in the velvety dark. As we prepare to drift backward to a time when the planets themselves were restless wanderers. Breathe in the cool, empty space. Feel the absolute stillness of the vacuum wrapping around you like a soft, heavy blanket. There is no rush here, no earthly demands, only the infinite stretch of time and the gentle pull of distant gravity. Let the slow rhythm of the ancient universe become your own as we surrender to the mysteries of the night. Our journey into the beautiful chaos begins now. Let us continue our slow ascent, drifting gently past the rusty, quiet dunes of Mars, leaving the rocky, familiar inner worlds far behind. As we glide further into the cooling, infinite dark, we approach a boundary, a realm that human imagination has so often misunderstood. the asteroid belt. In the restless stories told on glowing screens, this place is often painted as a chaotic, turbulent sea of tumbling boulders, a treacherous, loud minefield where travelers must weave and dodge through a dense, crashing storm of debris. But as we arrive here, floating weightless in the quiet reality of the cosmos, you can see that those stories were just shadows, illusions born of a hurried, waking mind. Open your mind's eye to the staggering, majestic emptiness of this place. The asteroid belt is not a heavy wall of stone. It is a vast, open ocean of almost perfect vacuum. If you were to rest your head upon the dusty surface of an asteroid right now and look out into the endless velvet night, you would not see a crowded sky. The nearest neighboring stone is, on average, over 1 million kilometers away. Think about that immense distance. It is 3 times the space between your safe bed on Earth and the glowing moon. The journey across that void between 2 lonely stones would take a lifetime of silent gliding. You could close your eyes and drift through this entire expanse in an eternal, undisturbed sleep and never brush against a single grain of cosmic dust. Imagine framing this view in your mind, like looking through a tall, endless vertical window opening into the cosmos. Allow your inner vision to focus, bringing a single, solitary asteroid into a beautiful, cinematic close-up. See the ancient light of the distant sun brushing its cratered surface with a soft, natural lighting, while the millions of distant stars in the background gently fade into a dreamy, blurred canvas, a perfectly shallow depth of field, highlighting only the peaceful solitude of this lone traveler. There is a profound, comforting silence in this isolation. If you were to gather every piece of rock, every speck of dust, and every frozen fragment in this enormous, sweeping ring and press them gently together into a single sphere, it would still be smaller and lighter than our own familiar moon. It is a whisper of a world, a scattered memory floating peacefully in the dark. But why is it so empty? Why is this ancient architecture so sparse and beautifully desolate? To find the answer, we must look further out, into the deep, echoing dark, toward a presence so massive it shapes the very fabric of space around it, the giant, gas-veiled king, Jupiter. Jupiter does not govern with sudden force or loud collisions. Instead, it moves with a slow, inescapable majesty. Its gravity is like a deep, unseen current in a silent ocean, sending out ripples of influence that wash over the asteroid belt over eons. Filtering out the noise and reducing the harshness of the early universe, Jupiter provides a deep, constant pull that hums with a moderate warmth, echoing through the emptiness like a low, soothing vibration. Over millions and millions of years, this gentle but persistent gravitational tide has swept through the belt, creating vast, empty lanes known as the Kirkwood Gaps. Imagine a slow, cosmic waltz, as certain asteroids fall into a rhythmic dance, with Jupiter orbiting in perfect, harmonic resonance with the giant. They experience a soft, repeated tug. Over millennia, this gentle rhythm nudges them, slowly drifting them out of their lanes, migrating them gracefully away into the deeper, uncharted waters of the solar system. What remains here in the quiet belt is not a failed planet, violently shattered, but a carefully sculpted garden of stone, swept clean by the invisible, rhythmic hand of its giant neighbor. It is a testament to the slow, patient forces that mold our universe, reminding us that even in the vastest emptiness, there is balance, there is structure, and there is a peaceful, abiding order. Let yourself float in that order, feeling completely safe in the vast, open spaces between the stars. As we gently leave the quiet, sparse garden of the asteroid belt behind, we drift further into the cooling shadows, moving steadily outward into the realm of the true giants. As you breathe in the peace of the night, let your mind consider a comforting illusion that humanity held onto for so long. For over a century, we looked up at the steady, unwavering lights in the sky and believed in absolute permanence. We thought that a world, once born, simply remained where it was initially placed, anchored in the dark, unmoving, static. It is a soothing thought, is it not? The idea that everything in the heavens has always been exactly where it is today, much like the familiar, quiet corners of your own bedroom. But as we sink deeper into the silent archives of cosmic memory, slowly turning back the heavy, velvet pages of deep time 4 billion years into the past, we find a very different neighborhood. The truth is far more poetic and wonderfully fluid. Welcome to the era of the Great Migration, a time when the very architecture of our solar system was alive, stretching and breathing in the ancient dark. Let your imagination paint the scene. Instead of the unimaginably vast, lonely distances that separate them today, picture Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, huddled close together, orbiting in a tight, delicate, and quietly tense formation near the warmth of the young Sunday. Their massive forms, swirling with ancient, soundless storms of ochre, pale gold, soft aqua, and deep sapphire, casting long, slow shadows across each other in a deeply beautiful celestial waltz. Just beyond this gathering of majestic giants, wrapped in the freezing twilight of the early solar system, lay a sprawling, untouched ring. This was not a belt of dry rock, but an endless sea of pure ice, billions upon billions of frozen fragments, a glittering, pristine halo of comets and primordial water containing 20 times the mass of our entire Earth, waiting silently in the cold. In this weightless realm, stillness is only an illusion, as the giant planets endlessly circled, their immense, invisible gravities reached out, sweeping through the edge of the frozen ring like soft, unseen hands brushing through tall grass. With every quiet revolution, a delicate, silent exchange took place. A slow-motion game of celestial forces that would take millions of years to unfold. Imagine the largest of them all, Jupiter, sweeping past the icy boundary, catching a glittering shard of frozen water in its gentle but absolute gravitational grip. Instead of drawing it in, it softly slingshots the comet deeper into the endless void. By the beautifully balanced laws of nature, every push has a pull. And with each icy body cast away, the giant planets themselves began to subtly drift, shifting their tremendous weight in the dark. It was a migration so incredibly slow, so profoundly subtle, that if you were floating right beside them, you would not notice a thing. But over eons, the map of the heavens began to stretch. Jupiter, heavy and commanding, slowly sank inward, drifting closer to the sun's warm embrace, while the others, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, were gently, inexorably pushed outward, slipping further and further into the cool, silent, echoing abyss. As they drifted outward, disturbing the vast sea of ice, a moment of magnificent, quiet rearrangement occurred, a cosmic sleight of hand in the absolute silence of space. The two outermost giants, Uranus and Neptune, engaged in a breathtaking slow-motion ballet. Neptune, a massive sphere of swirling azure, was actually borne closer to the Sunday, but as the gentle push of gravity guided its path, it drifted outward, eventually gliding seamlessly right past the pale blue globe of Uranus. They quietly traded places in the boundless dark, a majestic exchange of orbits that forever altered the structure of our skies. Have you ever wondered why Neptune is heavier, yet sits further away where there is less material? This long, silent journey is the answer. A beautiful reordering of worlds. Think about this grand, slow migration as you sink deeper and deeper into your mattress. The universe is not rigid, it is not unyielding, it is wonderfully flexible, constantly seeking and finding a new balance, just as you might shift softly beneath your heavy blankets, finding the perfect, most comfortable resting place for the night. The planets, too, have shifted, wandering through the void until they found their peaceful, eternal grooves in the fabric of space and time. The orderly system we see today, the magnificent, peaceful distances that separate these giant worlds, is simply the final, restful pose of a billions of years-long journey. The grand migration has ended. The giants have settled deeply into their beds, leaving behind a profound stillness and enduring, comforting quiet that now watches over your sleep. Let their long, ancient journey remind you that even the most massive, restless forces in the universe eventually find their place of perfect rest. As the great, sweeping migration of the gas giants slowly came to an end, their immense gravitational forces left a profound, lingering ripple in the fabric of the outer dark. Let us pause our drift for a moment and simply observe the beautifully orchestrated aftermath of their journey. Let your mind frame this vast, endless canvas of space, stretching infinitely upwards and downwards. Picture it as a perfectly composed, towering vertical portrait of the cosmos. Every distant star, every faintly shimmering nebula, is rendered with an unimaginable, pristine clarity, a breathtakingly sharp and flawless vision of the ancient night. Out here, far beyond the warmth of the young Sunday, lay the scattered remnants of the great icy ring. The gentle shifting of Jupiter and Saturn acted like a slow, deep exhalation, sending delicate, sweeping waves of gravity through this frozen, silent realm. And in response to this gentle sigh of the cosmos, an uncountable number of frozen wanderers, primordial comets, and ancient icy bodies were softly nudged from their eternal slumber. They began to fall, but not with haste. In the vastness of space, nothing happens quickly. They drifted slowly inward, drawn by the distant, magnetic warmth of the Sunday, embarking on lonely, peaceful journeys that would take thousands of lifetimes to complete. Picture this grand, quiet descent. Billions of glittering, silent diamonds slowly gliding down through the dark, velvety expanse of the void. As they drifted closer to the inner solar system, the faint, approaching heat began to gently warm their frozen, ancient surfaces, causing them to exhale soft, glowing plumes of pure white vapor, trailing behind them like delicate, translucent silk ribbons floating effortlessly in the vacuum. A slow-motion, majestic rainfall of light against the absolute blackness. In the textbooks and the hurried stories of science, this era is often called the late heavy bombardment, a phrase that might mistakenly evoke a feeling of a harsh, chaotic, and terrifying storm. But from our deeply peaceful, weightless vantage point, floating high above the eons, we can see through the illusion of chaos and witness the profound, slow-motion grace of this cosmic event. Look toward our silent companion, the moon. It had no thick blanket of air to shield it, and so it quietly, passively, opened itself to the arriving travelers. When an icy wanderer met the dusty silver surface, it did not happen with a loud, violent, shattering noise. In the absolute vacuum of space, there is no sound, no sudden disruption. There was only a silent, beautiful blooming of gray dust, rising gracefully and falling back to the surface in the low gravity like a perfectly choreographed, extremely slow dance. The dark, expansive craters that you see on the moon tonight, the familiar, deeply shadowed face that has watched over humanity's sleep since the very dawn of time. These are not the scars of a brutal war. They are quiet, eternal dimples, delicate, permanent impressions left behind by the gentle, repetitive touch of the ancient cosmos. A braille of history that you can read with your eyes on a clear, still night. But as this shimmering rain of comets slowly descended upon the young glowing sphere of Earth, something truly magical began to unfold in the dark. The early Earth was wrapped in a thick, primordial and heavy haze, and as these celestial ice spheres gracefully merged with our world, the universe seemed to perfectly balance the acoustics of this grand arrival, filtering out all the chaotic, unsettling noise. The thick atmosphere naturally rolled off the sharp, piercing frequencies of the outer void, entirely reducing any harshness or sudden alarms. What resonated through the young ground was only a deep, soothing rumble, a beautifully tempered vibration that carried a steady, moderate warmth, pulsing through the ancient bedrock like the slow, resting, and heavy heartbeat of a sleeping giant. These icy visitors were not bringing ruin. They were gentle, cosmic vessels, carrying the most precious, vital gift the universe could possibly offer: pure, frozen, life-giving water. As they softly nestled into the warm, glowing crust of the young Earth, they patiently surrendered their ancient ice, melting slowly and breathing out vast, billowing clouds of pure, cool vapor. The skies grew heavy, wrapping the entire world in a soft, dark, and deeply cooling blanket. And then, in the dim, tranquil twilight of the early Earth, it began to rain. A profoundly slow, gentle, and eternal rain. It rained not for mere hours or days, but for thousands, perhaps millions of years. A continuous, soft whispering of water against cooling stone. Imagine the quiet, deeply hypnotic, rhythmic sound of that endless, gentle downpour. The cool water rising, inch by slow inch, patiently pooling in the deep, vast, empty basins of the Earth, slowly drowning the ancient fires, cooling the young world, and meticulously weaving together the vast, deep, dark, and perfectly silent oceans. The very water that courses through you right now, the cool, refreshing glass resting quietly on your nightstand. The vast, dark depths where immense whales sing their slow, ancient, echoing songs. And the steady, rhythmic, eternal waves that roll onto the shore to lull your weary mind to sleep. Every single drop of it is a quiet, surviving echo of that ancient, shimmering rain of ice from the deepest, coldest edges of space. You are made of the stars, and you are filled with the ancient, peaceful rain of the early solar system. Allow yourself to sink completely into that beautiful thought, letting your body feel heavy, floating effortlessly on the calm, dark surface of this primordial ocean, feeling the gentle, rocking, rhythmic motion of the ancient tides, holding you, cradling you, keeping you infinitely safe in the endless dark. As we continue our slow, weightless drift through the silent, echoing galleries of our solar system, I invite you to look closely at the beautiful, quiet worlds that gracefully cross our path. If you ever find yourself doubting the restless, wandering history we have just explored, you need only to observe the gentle, ancient scars that these planets wear with such quiet, enduring dignity. They are deeply peaceful now, but they carry the silent memories of a profound and majestic reshaping. Let us drift softly back toward our own beautiful blue home and its constant silver companion in the dark. The Earth did not always have the moon to watch over its long, quiet nights. To find the origin of this gentle guardian, we must sink back into the deep, dark well of time, 4.5 billion years into the past. In that ancient, dusty twilight, a wandering planet the size of Mars, a world named Theia, found itself sharing the exact same silent path as our young Earth. In a breathless, slow-motion ballet that unfolded over immense stretches of time, these two worlds drew closer, gently pulled together by the inescapable, soft embrace of gravity. When they finally met, it was not a sudden, shattering end, but a spectacular, beautifully silent merging of colossal spheres. In the absolute vacuum of space, there was no deafening roar, only a slow, radiant blooming of molten rock and warm golden light, expanding gracefully into the cold, black void. Theia patiently surrendered its form, blending its deep, heavy core into the beating heart of the Earth. While a magnificent, glowing cloud of fragments was cast out into a quiet, looping orbit over countless millennia, this beautiful ring of dust and stone slowly cooled, gently drawing together, grain by grain, rock by rock, until it coalesced into the familiar, calming silver sphere that now guides our tides and bathes your sleeping room in its soft, pale light. The moon is an eternal, beautiful scar of that ancient, silent embrace. Now, let us gently turn our gaze inward, drifting softly toward the warmth of the sun until we reach the thick, pearlescent clouds of Venus. It hangs in the dark like a heavy, glowing jewel, and completely veiled in mystery. But if you watch it carefully, you will notice something profoundly strange and deeply soothing about its slow, heavy rhythm. Almost every other world in our celestial neighborhood spins harmoniously in the same direction, turning faithfully toward the morning light. But Venus walks its own unique, deeply solitary path. It spins backward with an agonizingly slow, deliberate grace. On Venus, if you could stand beneath its heavy, crushing clouds, you would see the sun rise in the west and slowly, very slowly, set in the east. Why does this beautiful world dance to a reversed, solitary rhythm? The silent echoes of history suggest that long ago, in the restless youth of the system, an unimaginable collision took place. A massive, wandering body brushed against Venus with such profound, overwhelming force that it slowly, irreversibly flipped the entire planet upside down, or gradually drained its momentum until it began to turn the other way. Now, it simply rests, spinning backward in eternal, quiet defiance. A peaceful, slow-moving survivor of a staggering ancient force. Let us drift away from the warmth once more, floating effortlessly outward into the freezing, deep blue shadows of the outer system, until we reach the pale, featureless, aquamarine sphere of Uranus. It is a world wrapped in absolute freezing silence, a giant sleeping quietly in the dark. But as we observe its slow, majestic orbit, we can see another, deeply fascinating scar. Unlike the Earth, which spins with a gentle, slight tilt to create our softly changing seasons, Uranus is entirely tipped over. Its axis is tilted by an astonishing 98 degrees. It does not spin like a top. Instead, it slumbers on its side, rolling slowly and smoothly along its orbital path like a massive pale blue pearl resting heavily on a velvet cloth. The only way a giant of such unimaginable weight could be pushed into this deep, eternal slumber on its side is through a gentle but unimaginably powerful touch from the past. An Earth-sized wanderer, emerging silently from the dark, must have collided with the pale giant, tipping it over in a graceful, slow-motion arc, leaving it to sleep beautifully on its side for the rest of eternity. And finally, we drift all the way inward, past the blue Earth, past the heavy clouds of Venus, to To the tiny, sun-scorched, and completely silent world of Mercury, it is the smallest of all, resting so close to the blinding, comforting warmth of the Sunday. If you could look deep inside this tiny, quiet sphere, you would find something beautifully disproportionate. Its heavy, dense iron core makes up more than 60% of its entire volume. A heavy, metallic heart that is far too large for its delicate, rocky skin. Why is Mercury's heart so heavy and exposed? The silent history hidden in the rocks tells us that Mercury was once a much larger, grander world, wrapped in a thick, insulating mantle of cool stone. But another ancient wanderer, crossing its path in the dark, struck a gentle but devastating grazing blow. The impact silently stripped away the lighter, outer layers of the planet, sweeping them out into the endless solar wind, leaving behind only the dense, heavy, enduring core. Mercury was stripped bare, but it survived. It remains there today, resting quietly in the intense golden glow of its parent star. A tiny, heavy testament to endurance. As you lie completely still, perfectly safe in your quiet room, think about these beautifully scarred worlds. The solar system is not a delicate, unblemished toy. It is a profound, ancient gallery of survivors. Every planet you see carries the deep, hidden marks of a wild and restless youth. And just like these worlds, any marks you carry, any weight from your own long journey, are simply proof of your endurance. Proof that you too have survived the storms and have finally found your quiet, peaceful place in the boundless dark. Allow that comforting thought to settle deeply into your mind, letting your body feel as heavy and peaceful as the dense, sleeping iron heart of Mercury, drifting, resting, surviving the gentle night. As we gently drift away from the tiny, heavy heart of Mercury, let us float upwards once more, finding a quiet, still point high above the entire spinning disk of our celestial neighborhood. Look down at this magnificent, slow-turning mandala of light and shadow. It looks so incredibly peaceful, so perfectly balanced. You might breathe a soft, deep sigh of relief, thinking that the wild, wandering days of the ancient cosmos are finally over, that the grand, swirling architecture has finally settled into its permanent, unchanging form. And from the perspective of our fleeting, beautiful human lives, it truly has. We are like tiny, delicate mayflies, fluttering for a single, quiet day, looking up at a magnificent, ancient mountain and believing it has never moved. But as we suspend ourselves in the deep, silent river of cosmic time, where 1,000,000 years pass like a single, effortless breath, we begin to see the profound, unfolding truth. The absolute stability we feel beneath our feet is a comforting, gentle illusion. On the vast scale of billions of years, our solar system is an entirely chaotic system. But do not let that word frighten you. Chaos, in the deep, quiet realms of astrophysics, does not mean a sudden, terrifying crash. It does not mean loud destruction or immediate danger. It simply means a beautiful, absolute freedom from perfect prediction. It means that our universe is a living, breathing, deeply interconnected system, not a cold, rigid machine. Imagine gravity not as a strict, unyielding rule, but as an endless sea of soft, invisible silk threads, gently connecting every single piece of rock, every glowing gas giant, and every tiny grain of icy dust in the entire dark expanse. Every time Jupiter completes its slow, majestic orbit, it gently, imperceptibly plucks one of these threads, softly tugging on the Earth, and the Earth softly pulls on Venus, and Venus whispers to Mercury. It is an incredibly complex, slow-motion web of gentle, continuous touches, an eternal, quiet conversation between worlds. Because of these endless, intricate embraces, the deep future is wonderfully unwritten. If you asked a master mathematician to calculate exactly where the Earth will be 100 years from now, they could tell you with absolute, comforting certainty. But if you asked where the Earth will be 100 million years into the deep future, the math begins to blur into a beautiful, soft haze. A shift of a single millimeter today, amplified over billions of quiet orbits, gently changes the entire cosmic dance. This means the solar system is still awake, still dreaming, still slowly, patiently rearranging itself in the dark. If we look into the vast supercomputing simulations, peering through the distant, foggy horizons of the next 5 billion years, we can catch glimpses of this incredibly slow evolution. In a small fraction of these deep time dreams, the gentle, repetitive tugs from the giant planets might slowly, gradually stretch the orbit of little Mercury. Over unimaginable eons, its beautifully round path could elongate, becoming a sweeping, extreme ellipse. In the unimaginable distant future, millions of light years from this quiet, Mercury might slowly perhaps they will meet in another majestic, silent embrace, merging softly in the dark to create an entirely new, deeply peaceful world. Or perhaps the intricate sweeping dance of gravity will gently sling little Mercury outward, softly pushing it away from the blinding warmth of the sunlight. Imagine that little iron core leaving its ancient orbit and drifting smoothly out into the Oort cloud, passing the icy fringes, and gliding out into the majestic, glittering spiral arms of the Milky Way. It would not be a tragedy. It would be a beautiful, silent liberation. A tiny, quiet voyager from our ancient home, floating freely forever in the infinite dark. There is a profound, deep comfort in knowing that nothing is permanently fixed, that the universe is not a trapped, eternal clockwork. It is a beautifully dynamic, endlessly unfolding story. When you lie awake at night, trying to plan every detail, trying to map out every single step of your own future with absolute certainty, you are trying to force a living, breathing existence into a rigid, unmoving track. It is exhausting. Let go of that heavy weight. Let go of the need to know exactly where you will be tomorrow or next year. Embrace the gentle, slow-moving chaos of existence, knowing that even the grandest planets in the heavens do not know exactly where their paths will lead in the deep future. Yet they continue to gracefully orbit in the dark, too, perfectly safe in the present moment, trusting the invisible currents of the void. The solar system is silently accumulating the gentle forces of tomorrow, preparing for a future we will never see, but tonight, and for millions of years to come, it is a safe, quiet haven. The changes are so slow, so incredibly vast, that you can simply close your eyes and let them wash over you without a single ripple of fear. Allow your breathing to synchronize with that slow, billion-year cosmic clock. Inhale deeply, feeling the steady, comforting gravity of the present moment holding you safe and warm in your bed. Exhale completely, releasing the uncontrollable, distant future into the vast, open void of space. Drift in this beautiful, quiet uncertainty, feeling deeply anchored, yet entirely, wonderfully free. As we reach the gentle end of our journey through the deep, silent history of the dark, let us return, one last time, to the warm, glowing blue sphere we call home. The truth of our solar system, its staggeringly violent past, its wandering giants, and its deeply chaotic, unwritten future might seem overwhelming at first glance. But when you let go of the need for perfect order and look through the patient lens of deep time, it offers a profoundly beautiful, entirely comforting perspective. In a sprawling cosmic arena shaped by colossal, silent collisions, by the slow, merciless migration of frozen worlds, and by orbits that dance in an unpredictable, wandering chaos, the Earth has somehow found a perfectly quiet corner, a deeply peaceful, resting harbor in the endless, dark ocean. We are not just floating aimlessly, we are cradled in the dark. We have the massive, watchful presence of Jupiter, spinning quietly in the distance, acting as a grand, silent shield, its immense gravity sweeping away the wandering stones that might otherwise disturb our profound peace. We have the gentle, silvery moon, born from an ancient, fiery embrace, now serving as a permanent, steadying anchor, holding our world's tilt in a perfect, delicate balance, ensuring that our seasons roll smoothly and beautifully into one another, year after quiet year. And we are bathed in vast, deep oceans, beautifully filled by the very comets that once rained down upon the early, restless world, turning ancient destruction into the very cradle of life. Our solar system is not a rigid, perfectly ordered classroom. It is a magnificent, beautifully chaotic wilderness. And the simple, breathtaking fact that life exists here on Earth, the fact that you are here, breathing softly in the quiet night, is not because the universe is a perfectly safe clockwork. It is because we are the deeply fortunate beneficiaries of an unimaginable, perfect sequence of beautiful accidents. We are a quiet, breathing masterpiece of cosmic luck. The next time you open your eyes to the night sky, do not just see a collection of static, silent lights resting on a black canvas. Look deeper into the velvet void. See the immense, restless, majestic history they have lived through. See the profound endurance of every softly scarred moon and every heavily sleeping planet. And remember that you too are a quiet, proud survivor of this magnificent, sweeping, cosmic, beautifully chaotic masterpiece. Now, let the immense weight of the universe simply fade away. Let the gentle, familiar gravity of the Earth hold you securely in your bed. You are completely safe. You are deeply anchored. You are exactly where you are meant to be in this vast, unfolding, eternal story. If this quiet journey has brought you peace tonight, if you found comfort in drifting through the dark, please consider gently tapping the subscribe button, leaving a soft beacon so we may float together again through the infinite, sleepy cosmos. But for now, let your mind release its final thoughts. Sink deeply into the soft, heavy blankets, feeling the gentle, silent rotation of the Earth carrying you safely through the stars, and completely surrender to the beautiful, silent dark. Sleep well, quiet traveler, and good night.